Hello, once again, Niner Faithful, and welcome back to another episode of 49ers Playbook on the channel that's trying to answer the whys and the hows of the game. This week, we're only going to be covering the first three drives of the defense and the failed third down conversion on the first drive by the offense. It was really how the 49ers started the game so poorly that determined how the game went. So that's all we're going to look at this week, but we're going to see some really important nuggets in there. But let's jump to the film and see how the 49ers started off so bad against the Rams. You're watching Johnny Dell's Football Academy. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go back to week 5 against the Rams. And, obviously last week, Michael Williams went down with a torn ACL. And this game really showed how valuable he has been to the 49ers. People have been talking about Michael Williams as he hasn't had the sack production, that it may have been a waste of a first round pick. We saw in this game exactly why the 49ers went out and got him. He was the premier run edge defender coming out in college, and it really showed in this game, but also missing this big guy, Alfred Collins. But here the Rams are going to run what they do all the time. This is that duo that they run over and over and over again. This is their main run play where you get double team blocks up the middle. They like to do these insert kind of sift blocks where you'll have a guy sift inside the tackle, and then they let Kyron Williams kind of shoulder square to the line of scrimmage, attack, and find the hole. Well, we're going to focus on Michael Williams here on the edge against the Rams's left tackle. And what you're going to see is one, they try and kick him out, but look how he stays square. He's going to use his length to press the left tackle off of him. You're going to see right there. There's that length to be able to press, the power then to disengage and move inside. Kyron Williams is going to see Fred Warner, that'll come up again later, attack hard in his gap, and he's going to then work backside. Now, the Rams also get a holding penalty here on this block when Jair Brown filled pretty aggressively and where he gets tackled. So as he tries to come over, Michael Williams disengages, and you get a tackle for almost no gain. I think it was about a yard gain, and then you have the holding penalty on top of that. We'll see it here from the end zone, how these blocks work out, that you're going to see. Again, we're focusing on Michael Williams, him engage with the left tackle, the length to press, disengage, and work inside. This is why you went and drafted him as high as you did. He is the premier edge run defender. Okay, so now we're going to come out here and you got Clelin Ferrell, where Michael Williams normally is. Sam O has been playing Nick Bosa's spot, so Clelin Ferrell has to come in and play for Michael Williams. And you're going to see this same thing. Same player is going to be the left tackle is going to be coming up against Michael Williams. You're going to see same insert block. Now they're gonna run this one at that direction, but it's the same blocking principles across the board. They're going to let Kyron Williams find his hole. Now we're seeing this left tackle is driving Clelin Ferrell off the ball. Clelin Ferrell was a free agent pickup this year. He wasn't exactly highly sought after, but you are trying to make up for both of your defensive ends being out. So we're watching Clelin Ferrell. There he's going to get pushed out, driven off the ball. And now you're having this lane widening. And this is where Kyron Williams is just going to shoot right through this hole. You don't hold up at the point of attack like there. That is completely different from what we saw with Michael Williams when he was in the game. And this is a big reason why you don't earn the right to rush the passer. You have to be able to stop the run first so that you can earn the right to rush the passer, especially when you have a team that runs so much play action like the Rams do. If you can't stop the run, then play action is going to kill you, and you're going to get burned all day long. Your linemen are going to be so worried about trying to stay in their run lanes that they're not going to be able to get out there. Now, also, CJ West does a decent job here. He holds that point. You get Bethune comes in to fill. This is just not good enough to get kicked out. Again, Michael Williams was disengaging, and he's in here. And you get a Michael Williams in on this play. This looks completely different. CJ West, I felt like he needed to get more snaps in this game. I think they're working him back from injuries. Does have some footwork stuff in other areas that he's trying to work through, but he needs to get more snaps. Jordan Elliott uh, did not play his best game here, and he's not the best against these duo runs. So that is a big part of it there with Micah Williams not being in, and you have Cleveland Farrell. Okay, now we're going to see another duo run, and you're just going to have an issue here right at the nose. This is going to be Jordan Elliott and Bethune, and you can't have it look like this. So what we saw with CJ West is he anchored here and then forced them once they disengaged. He was going to work to that point because these guys are reading on Bethune. So when Jordan Elliott sees this center let go, he's trying to kind of grab on. But once that happens, he's got to work into that space. That's his gap, is to be right between the center and the guard. Kalia Davis is going to do that. He's going to work over towards his gap. But Jordan Elliott gets moved a little bit too much out of his lane. He needs to be working inside. You can have Kalia Davis work inside. You have Sam O's is working this tight end back. Upton Stout's trying to work through his blocker. But really, the key is you can't have the center kick out Bethune and kick out your nose. That's the problem, is they're going to run right through there. That's just too big of a hole. You give that to Kyron Williams, and he's gonna hit that and make daylight every time. So this is a problem where you're getting released. If he allows that, he's got to get beat inside. He's got to beat that guard inside, and he doesn't. He takes the wrong outside lane, and you have a big run gain again. Okay, so we're going to talk about the touchdown here. The Rams are coming out. They're going to run off left tackle. They're in 13 personnel, so you have 3 tight ends and 1 running back. First issue you have is we're not even lined up correctly. So the Rams in a heavy offset where they have 3 tight ends to one side, you have to be +1 in goal to go. What I mean by that is each side of the center, you should have an unaccounted for defender, meaning the offense cannot account for 1 defender on each side of the center when you're in goal to go situations, because you don't have any deep safeties. You should be +1 on every side. We're not. What do I mean by that? Okay, center and nose tackle cancel each other out. So you have 10 defenders, 5 on one side, 5 on the other, if you're completely balanced. But the Rams are not balanced. So you have 5 blockers on one side. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you have 5 defenders. That means the Rams can get a hat on a hat. You are 0. You are not +1 at goal to go. On the other side, they have 1, 2, 3 blockers against 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 defenders. You are +2 to the weak side. So you are 0 unaccounted for, and you are 2 unaccounted for. So where are the Rams going to run? Where they have the advantage. We should have our linebackers shifted over so that you are +1 and +1. That is how you want this to be defended, but we don't even get lined up correctly. That's the first problem. Second problem is we don't have good gap integrity here from Sam O. Sam O has to maintain the C gap. You're going to have the A gap, the B gap, and the C gap. That is the gap between the tackle and the tight end. Watch him on this play. He's going to get turned. He's going to engage. His head is on the wrong side of the tackle. He is supposed to be outside the tackle. Then he's going to get turned and sealed off. Okay, so now this is going to be the lane they're going to run through because Sam O did not maintain his gap integrity. He is supposed to be on the other side. Kalia Davis is working it down like he should, or excuse me, that's CJ West like he should, but they're going to run in right through where Sam O should have been. Okay, the other problem we have, if I back this up, is Malik Mustafa has got to take this tight end on with his outside shoulder. He's coming inside. So now you should be outside, force this back in to where you're going to get your pursuit. That's not there. So you have 2 guys giving up edge on this. So Kyron Williams is just going to be able to run through this. You can't give up your edge. You can't give up your edge, both guys. So this is multiple layers of issues here, and this is just a simple touchdown for Kyron Williams. It was never in doubt. We didn't even line up correctly, and then you play your techniques wrong. So, number of issues here. This also speaks to not having Michael Williams. It speaks to not having Fred Warner out on the field. This is just becoming frustrating to see this when you know that the team could be a lot better. All right, we're going to talk about this failed third down conversion by Mac Jones and the 49ers. This is partially really good job by the Rams, but they fool Mac here. So the Rams are starting out. You see these two safeties. They're in this quarters kind of look. The Rams play a lot of heavy quarters. And what they do is a lot of times these guys are going to be man outside and deep. So if this route goes outside and deep, they're going to be in man. And then they zone up everything else. So if these receivers break inside, usually they're handing them off to inside defenders. So Mac is ready for that, and we have a good zone beater if that's what they come with a levels concept. Kyle calls this follow. We're going to get George Kittle on a basic route, Juwan Jennings on an under route. To the other side, we're going to run this off, and then we're going to get Kendrick Bourne on a choice out China. So he's going to run this like a choice out, and then that breaks back in. So it's a double move. That would be really good against man. And you have McCaffrey out into the flat. So what we're going to do first here is we're going to watch this top corner. Now, he does a good job of waiting until Mac's eyes go away from him. So Mac's is looking away. He's trying to signal this motion. And once that corner sees Mac's eyes drift away, he's going to drop out and in. And so he's going to get a little bit of a buffer and then hard inside leverage. He is preparing. You see him stepping inside for an inside route. He has severe inside leverage on Juwan Jennings. And why are they doing this? Well, they're going to come with man here. They're at the snap. They're going to bring this safety down on George Kittle. They're going to drop a deep safety. They're going to put a lurk to that side. And now you have man coverage across the board. So Mac, you really want to then identify man coverage and look to Kendrick Bourne on this as he's going to break out and then back in. That's your double move. The protection is good. He doesn't look that way. He kind of predetermined that this was going to be quarters coverage, and he's going to try and read this player who he thinks is in a mic drop or a curl drop for the outside. And so he's reading him, and he's going to say, okay, he's staying inside, so I'm going to throw this route to Juwan Jennings. But again, look at the inside leverage. This corner is sitting on anything in breaking hard. That is not going to be a win. Mac needs to move on from this. He doesn't. He tries. I mean, this is not a win when you have a guy with such inside leverage and you're coming with this. This is at best going to be a bang play. Not a great idea here, especially when you have that lurk also coming over. They fooled Mac on this. If he can wait on it, if he would and look this guy over, he's got a great pocket, and you can try and hit George Kittle, or you read man and you work backside to this route because you can see the corners driving on it. Kendrick Bourne is breaking out, and then he's going to break back inside. You're going to get McCaffrey come out and his man come over the top. That will break open. That's where I'd like to see Mac go. He never looks that direction. You can see how this was working out. It was going to break. These guys were going to move. And so you have it there. It's there. It's wide open. You have a good pocket. He tries to force in here. Now, yes, the corner gets here a split second early, but that's not the right throw. I mean, you can hold on this and throw to Kittle if you hold that lurk defender. This was one of the worst decisions that Mac made in this game. Now, to his credit, Mac Jones played a really good game. This was one of the few poor decisions he made, but this is not it. That's not a win for you. Yes, it probably should have been called, but that's one that's not going to win either way. All right, so we're going to come back, and again, more issues defending the run. This game, the defense started to look a lot like the run defense in 2024. So we've been dealing with some communication issues with shifts and motions, especially late ones. Teams are seeing this, and they are coming after the 49ers. And a lot of that's going to be that all these guys have to be in on this communication. they've been relying on Fred Warner to handle this communication for so long that somebody's got to be more vocal and making sure that everybody is alert to what's going on, because we play a one gap defense. So you're going to have each guy is responsible for a gap. And I'll show this from the end zone too. So what we have off the weak side is you have your linebacker up on the line of scrimmage. That's Gifford. He is responsible for outside contain, especially in this defense. You brought a safety down to help with run support on these heavy overloads where they're going to have three tight ends to one side. So normally, if you're in your cover four, you have a safety here that he's going to come down and fill on that. That's not the case. So you have three to one side. Now the Rams, they're going to bring a guy in motion. And what this does is this now widens every gap. The moment he's going to cross the center, and this is where there needs to be communication of where these gaps are shifting. Because at this point, Sam O has got to take this outside gap. Tatum Bethune is going to fill where Sam O's gap is, and you have Kalia Davis is going to fill where the A gap. So as this comes out, Luke Gifford has to then stay outside of the motioning tight end, and that's how you account for every gap. They don't do that. There's a late move over here. Gifford's going to do what he's supposed to do, which is he's supposed to come up and attack this outside shoulder of the tight end and maintain contain. But you can see right here that Sam O has not done that. And that's probably lack of communication and alerting him to know that he doesn't have somebody occupying the gap outside the tackle. So that is a situation where we're not communicating that, or Bethune has got to get on his horse and go fill this gap really quickly because they have out leveraged you. Either way, we don't get it done. Bethune is a little slow on it. Sam O is caught inside. Gifford has done what he's done, and he set an edge, but you have no support through the C gap. And so they just run right through the C gap untouched. And that's just unacceptable. That comes, and you get these explosive runs for the Rams. So we're going to see it from the end zone. We have gap, gap, gap. You're good right there. You have every gap accounted for. We're going to gap, gap. We're going to gap, gap, gap. And then you have a corner out here. You have every gap accounted for. Well, once this tight end goes in motion, you're not going to have a gap accounted for because he's going to shift over, and they're trying to bump, but Bethune's he's got to get out here because he's thinking he's going to have this gap. And Sam O, this is not communicated. Sam O, as far as he understands, he's in the right gap. So he's going to come in here and he's going to try and get into his gap. Gifford's up. We have nobody through this lane. That's on Tatum Bethune to recognize that, go hit it, go fill it quickly. There's no reading. You get to your spot and you force that back inside quick. And then he's late to the party, overruns it. These are some of the struggles that you have trying to fill in for Fred Warner. All right. So now this one's on Sala, and this is just not a good call in the moment. Now I understand why he's doing that. You're seeing some of these players being aggressive or being a little passive, and how do they fill their gaps? How do we account for our lane? So what you're going to do is now you're going to come with a run blitz. So you're going to say, well, we're going to just tell these guys fly in these holes, and we're going to plug up every gap with a run blitz. Well, Sean McVay, we ran this blitz. I think it was either play before this or two plays before this. What he's just going to do is he's going to say, okay, you're going to do that. I'm going to come block, and I'm going to block, and I'm going to run a little wide receiver screen, and we're going to release these guys out to block, and they're going to catch you in this blitz. And this is hard on your whole team, hard on your players, because now you're bringing -1, and they're just going to come out here, block and block. And that's real tough for your defense. So this is McVay got Saleh here, where, I mean, this is just not pleasant for your players. You're getting just free runners out here with 4-on-2. That's never fun for the defense. They try and get physical. There's there's an argument here for uh, blocking the back or holding on the player who takes Mustafa, which is going to be right here. There's an argument for it. He pretty much tackles him, but you're over leveraged, and then in that, Jair Brown's got to come up and force this back to all of his help. You got some guys trying to run it down. Now you had this big collision with Curtis Robinson and Demo. So you got a bunch of big guys trying to run this down, and Upton Stout. This is not good enough tackling by Jair Brown. This has been a problem for him for a while. Your safety, you've got to be the last line of defense to go make tackles. I know this is tough. This is Puka Nacua. You have alignment on you, but you got a chance. You got to at least slow him down. They don't even slow him down, and he just barrels right into the end zone. That's a mix of, not a great call by Saleh, but Jair Brown, you've got to keep that from being a touchdown. Now, the Rams do most likely score either way, but you at least give yourself a shot. That's just not good enough at all. All right, now we're going to come back and we're going to see another duo run here. This is what the Rams do, and this reminds me a lot of the first meeting between these two teams last year. Again, you don't have Micah Williams and you don't have Nick Bosa. You have Bryce Huff, who's a pass rush specialist, who's a smaller guy, trying to be one of your edge defenders, edge setters against the run. It's just hard. I mean, you need some more big bodies out there that are able to hold up on this. And you got Keon White on the other side. You're trying to give Sam O and Cleveland Farrell a breather. So you bring in Bryce Huff, but we're going to watch this side against the right tackle. This does not look like what Micah Williams did. He just gets no movement there. Excuse me, not even a right tackle. This is a tight end. So Micah Williams against a tight end was a cheat code. Nobody's was able to put a tight end on Micah Williams and win. Micah Williams was going to then just collapse this edge, or Nick Bosa collapses this edge, and Kyron Williams has to run through the middle where we have some support, and Jordan Elliott's going to disengage. That's problem number one, is that you just have way too big of an edge that is pushed out. You've got to collapse that thing down. That's where you need your horses. Two, Upton Stout's got to come up in here, and he's got to fill this C gap. He's got to fill hard and aggressively. That is his gap. He's going to come in here, and he just gets caught. Now, he's been caught with the Rams. They do all this play action. He's going to get worried. I got to read it, got to make sure that it's a run, And by the time he recognizes it, he has not moved. Tatum Bethune has not moved. These guys have got to go fill aggressively. You have to earn the right to rush the passer and earn the right to defend the pass. These guys are just slow on the reaction. And so you get Puka Nacua gets up, is able to get in the way of Upton Stout a little bit. I mean, it's not a great block by Puka, but still, first time you're getting hands on the guy is 5 yards deep. And now that's yards after contact is an 8-yard run. You can't give up 8-yard runs over and over again and expect to be successful. All right. So then you're seeing, okay, Tatum Bethune was a little slow on his run fit. So is Upton Stout. So again, you're going to try and come with these run blitzes. So you're going to have a nose, and you're going to ask Jordan Elliott to attack the right gap, and you're going to have Tatum Bethune come and attack you. You're going to fill the A gaps hard. They've been doing these duo blocks. So now what you're going to do is you're going to then replace extremely aggressively. Well, problem is Tatum Bethune, he's going to give the blitz away. So you can see it there. Center saw it as he attacks. He gets stuck on it. Oh, it's coming. So here the center points him out. He's blitzing. So they know at this point, he's communicating to the guard. He's making a call to this guard that this defensive tackle's slanting over. Bethune's coming through. So now the center can take Bethune, and this guard is going to use this slant against Jordan Elliott, and he's going to step around him and seal him off. And now you're going to get a lane right through here. You can't give away your blitz early. This is you're giving them too much of an advantage. And so you see the guard is already moving laterally. He's saying, I'm going to work away across and shift around because Jordan Elliott was coming on that slant. On this side, center just stood pat, waited for Bethune to come, and now he's going to kick him out. And so there it goes. He knew it was coming. And this now opens up just a massive lane for Kyron Williams to work through. I mean, just untouched. He's untouched by the defense for the first 8 yards. This comes where it's hard on your defensive coordinator when you're trying to come with these calls to give you an advantage, and then you give it away. And this is now what's going to be happening because they saw it coming. Everybody's starting to press. They're trying so hard to get in here and make these plays. You're getting beat. This is where things start to snowball, and that's where it was happening early in the game.
All right, so last play we're going to talk about, this is the third touchdown now, and this is where the Rams pretty much put the game away out of reach. When you spot the Rams 21 points early, it just becomes too difficult. And this is, again, miscommunication. D. Winters, he did not play a good game this game. It's been a kind of a downhill trend for him for the last few weeks. We're going to be running man coverage here. And you're going to see out of the run fake, both him and Lenore are doubling a tight end, and Winters is going to be on him. Well, at this point, they need to decide who's covering him. Somebody needs to communicate this out. If you're going to be on this, Winters has got to say yours, or Lenore's got to say yours. They've got to communicate this out because now you have Stafford on this rollout. And they're going to be playing it. Somebody sees this and they're saying, okay, we only got Kalia Davis trying to run Stafford down. Somebody's got to come up and run support here if Stafford decides to keep this thing. And what happens is both of them drop in run support. Nobody stays on the tight end. They both think the other guy's got the tight end, and you leave him, and he's just wide open in the end zone. And now here's where he sees Lenore's going to turn. Winters is turning, and they're now in a discussion to figure out who was supposed to stay on him, who was supposed to leave him. I thought you had him. I thought you had him. I was going after Stafford. These are some of the issues that you're seeing with the 49ers throughout the game. There was a number of communication issues. There was a number of moments where you could see clear frustration. There was one play we tried to go with the dime defense. Jason Pinnock went out on the field, and this actually happened twice. First time the 49ers called a timeout and didn't get a penalty, where Jason Pinnock went out and they tried to tell D. Winters to get off the field, and he didn't get off the field, and then they went out again, and it was another time where it was a crucial down, and Jason Pinnock went up to Winters and was trying to tell him, you need to get off the field, and Winters turned around and snapped at him, and then the official threw a penalty flag for 12 men on the field. D. Winters runs off. Johnny Holland, the linebackers coach, throwing his sheets at him, basically on the sideline. There's frustration mounting there. D. Winters there's some communication that these things are not working out. Still seeing far too many communication errors on the defensive side. And this speaks to a young defense. A defense with guys that don't have a lot of starts under their belt. D. Winters, this is the first time he's starting without other veterans there with him. Last year when he was starting, he was also in another lineup. He had Fred Warner there with him to direct a lot of traffic. Even, as much as we saw Devondre Campbell be an issue, he was still a veteran, though, who knew some of the communication sides of it. This is just looking like the symptoms of a team that you don't have a clear leader out on the field. And a team that everybody's starting to press. Guys are starting to, they're not talking as much. They're not staying on their assignments. They're not communicating changes in assignments. And teams are, as I've been saying, in a number of our losses and even some of our wins, these are things that you're going to see teams lean into with us throughout the year. And we're seeing these things pop up over and over again, where teams are using lots of changes of strength, lots of motions right before the snap, challenging our communication, running these switch releases, challenging our communication, challenging our assignment divvying that's happening there. They've got to work through these things. These are tough to do in season. So I think my biggest hope going into this is actually that Robert Saleh doesn't leave this offseason, because this would be a huge growth offseason for this team if you can get some consistency. But as they're going forward, they need to have some things that get things right. Wins really are a good deodorant. They're coming up on 4 games where their schedule gets much easier going forward. So hopefully they can get some wins under their belt that really help the defense start gelling more, communicating better, not biting at each other on the field where things are going well, and they can start to figure out whose roles or who's best in what roles. So all I have to say, hope you enjoyed the video at least. It's a little bit shorter. I know it's a different format than normal, busy week for all of us. So I wanted to get into it, get it out, and talk through some of the stuff. And always produce a review video for everybody to know the whys and hows of the game. If you'd like to support the channel in any way, there'll be links right below. I want to say thank you so much to the members of JFA49.com for your support. The coaching staff are the ones that make these videos possible. Watching the film, the time editing the film, and breaking it down. Even shorter versions like this take a lot of time, and so I appreciate everybody there. This video is going to get flagged by the NFL probably before it's even finished uploading. But appreciate everyone. Stay tuned for next week and Friday as we go live. So hopefully the Flames will be able to bounce back well against the Arizona Cardinals. But until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, and as always, go Niners.